Hi, good morning to our lecturer and also my fellow friends. So today our group will be presenting the project risk management about the rubber glove production. So there are actually three techniques to develop this plan. First is the analytical techniques. Analytical techniques is done by defining the overall risk management context of the project and then plan accordingly after taking into account of any possible risk available. Meeting is basically gathering all the team members and discuss together in a group to figure out and develop a risk management plan. And lastly is expert judgment. These techniques use expert who has experience and also expertise in that particular field, so we can consult for their perspective and also judgment to develop a risk management plan. In the glove production, we divide the risk categories into three big parts, which are technical risk, external risk, and also organizational risk. All these three categories of risk will be further elaborated by Mr. Izzizaham.
So for technical risks, we have safety and security, quality issues, and also performance and reliability. Next is environmental risks. Under the environmental risks, we have political problems, weather issues, and customer issues. And lastly, for organizational risks, we have funding, prioritization, and also staff attribution. So RBS or risk breakdown structure is a structure that categorizes the project's risk, which we can further break down into any levels of detail. So here is our RBS. We can see that the project risk is divided to three big parts, which is technical risk, external risk, and organizational risk. And all the risks that I have mentioned before is listed down under the big categories as stated.
Probability and impact guideline. In terms of probability of occurrence and impacts, we categorize the risk by using percentages from very low to very high for each level. We classify 10% as very low, 30% as low, 50% as medium, 70% as high, and 90% as very high. Probability and impact matrix. We define the risk scale according to extreme, high, medium, and low levels. In terms of colors, we classify each level to make it easy for us to identify the threat of the risk from the table. Red is defined as extreme, orange is defined as high, yellow as medium, and green as low. Identifying risk. To identify the risk, 7 tools and techniques can be used: SWOT analysis, assumption analysis, diagramming techniques, expert judgment, information gathering techniques, documentations review, and checklist analysis. For this project, we will use assumption analysis, expert judgment, and information gathering techniques.
So this is the risk register for our glove production project. We identify the risk using 5M method, which are manpower, machine, material, management, and also medium. We also consider two more risks, which are the products and also regulations. The risk rating can be obtained by multiplying the probability of occurrence and the impact on the project. So let's start with the manpower. For the manpower, we have two possible risks, which are the lack of workforce and also lack of skills. The lack of workforce means that the number of staffs is insufficient, which could cause delay on the glove production and will lead to a stressful environment. This risk has a medium threat, which is 0.09. So our mitigation plan is by planning and estimate the required number of workers to cope with the project and complete it within the time scope. This planning should be conducted by the project manager. Secondly is the lack of skills. Lack of skills means that the worker does not have the necessary skills to properly do the given task. This can cause unwanted accident to happen at the workplace. We consider this threat to be low, which is 0.03, as the probability for it to happen is very low. As the mitigation plan, human resource managers should properly interview the worker before getting them hired so that their skills suit for the job description. Next, we move on to the machine. For the machine, there are also two possible risks that may happen, which are the installation delay and also machine breakdown. The delay in installation may happen if the machine took longer time to install at the factory, which causes delay on the overall project. This is because the product cannot be produced without the machine. This is considered as medium threat, which has a risk rating of 0.15. To avoid this risk, the installation manager have to make sure that the person who is in charge of the installation of the machine has knowledge about the machine and know how to install it properly without any delay. For the breakdown, this will give a very high impact to the project. If a breakdown occurs, it will cause the production to stop and may halt the overall process. This could lead to a huge delay in the glove production, which is why it is considered to be high threat, which has a risk rating of 0.27. In order to avoid or overcome this problem, we should prepare the spare parts to fix the machine, especially the parts where it has high probability of breaking. Other than that, we could hire an expert to do the maintenance and also fix any problem if anything happen in the future. This plan should be conducted by the operational manager.
So, for the material risk, we have current rubber materials still not comply to the specification need to produce a good quality glove. We rate this risk as 0.07. This is because low quality rubber will affect the final product and may cause defect to the product if the material is not compliant to the product specification. Therefore, how to overcome this? Research and development team will in charge to do research and development to increase the rubber quality to match with the glove requirements. Next, the amount of available resources are not enough to keep up with the glove production, so we rate this risk as 0.09, which is medium. This is because having not enough resource will limit the production numbers. Therefore, operational manager will be in charge to increase the rubber production by adding more machine or ask from other suppliers to cope with the glove production line. Next is funding, which is under the management. Funding is the risk. We rate it as 0.05, which is low. This is because insufficient funding can cause delay and also interrupt with the progress during the glove production. This can stop the production entirely or just limit the amount of the glove. So, how to overcome this? Finance manager need to be in charge to plan and estimate the budget and cost for a project and expect any possibilities that may lead to increase the project cost. And then for next is vendor. We rate this as 0.03. So this is having an expert who have the wrong concept may change the project outcome entirely. Therefore, how to overcome this is project manager. Before hiring an expert, make sure to give a proper overview about the project and expected outcome so that the expert have a clear view of the project.
In terms of medium, the first one is flood. The rating is 0.09, which is medium. If flooding happens, it can cause damage to machinery and production will stall. Therefore, project manager must ensure to learn more about the area and the geological characteristics before getting a new plan in a new area. Next is roadblock or congestion. The rating is 0.09, which is medium too. It will cause delay to the production or potential sale of product if the product or supply stuck in a jam or roadblock. So, the operational manager is responsible to plan the route before delivery of materials and product. He also need prepare the required document according to SOP during MCO. Then, in terms of product, firstly, product's defect. The rating is 0.09, which is medium. Glove defect will reduce our company's income. If the product is broken and cannot be used, it will be wasting the resources. So, the quality control manager need to prepare a team to monitor the product during each stage to avoid any faulty at our product during operation. Second is the product does not comply to the specification. The rating is low, which is 0.05. If the glove produced does not comply to the minimum specification, it can cause huge losses as the client will not accept the product. So, research and development team need to do R&D to ensure that the product will meet the minimum specifications and requirement as the client requests.
And also, lastly, is the regulations. There are government regulations and also companies regulations. The government may impose a new regulations that state that glove is no longer a compulsory because of COVID-19 elimination. As the result, the demand of the glove in the market will be reduced and eventually there will be no income for the glove production. This is considered as high threat as the risk rating is 0.21. So in order to prevent or overcome this problem, the research and development team should provide a wider type of glove, such as the gardening glove, washing glove instead of just one type of glove. This will increase the market penetration and widen the potential customer to buy our product. Lastly is the company's regulation. The SOPs provided state that only limited numbers of workers are allowed to work at once. This will reduce the efficiency of the production as there will be less workers. This will reduce the efficiency of the production as there will be less workers to conduct the machinery. This is considered as medium threat, which has a risk rating of 0.15. So to overcome this risk, the operational manager should consider installing a robot machine that will automatically work with less supervision. This will allow us to maintain the optimal production line despite having a less number of workers. Thank you. That's all from us.